All right, so here we go. Good afternoon. Hi, Deshira.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for doing the interview with me as part of my African American History Oral Project. I do have a list of questions I wanted to go over with you. I'm going to share some background with you, or what do you want to tell me regarding your background?
My name is Dee, and I live in Baltimore City. And I was present for the Freddie Gray riots.
Okay, so you were right there. So if I'm correct, you live in that neighborhood?
Yes, I used to live in that neighborhood.
You used to live in that neighborhood while things were happening.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So what was it like for you during the time of the riots, or after Freddie Gray's death and the word got out that he died? What was it like in that neighborhood?
Very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
Just pandemonium, just chaotic everywhere.
Okay. So there's a lot more traffic in that neighborhood with people coming through than it normally would be.
A lot more traffic.
Okay. Gotcha. I can understand that. Some of the things that I understood that happened during that time was that there was a curfew in force. What was it like being an adult, being told what time you had to be in the house?
Very uncomfortable.
Okay.
You're grown, and you pretty much have to abide by these rules, and if you don't, you get arrested, and stuff like that. It just made it very, very hard to go about your daily life.
Gotcha. And that it was a 10 o'clock curfew, am I right?
10 or 11.
10 or 11. Okay. So with that happening, did you experience any financial hardship because of the riots?
Yes. The store I was working for at the time, they actually closed for a couple of days.
Wow. So with them closing, and I get that to protect their property, their business, but you don't get paid during that time.
Exactly.
Okay, so you lost income.
Yes.
Okay. So were you fearful during that time traveling back and forth in your neighborhood or walking in your neighborhood?
Yes. People were just so unpredictable, and you didn't know what somebody was going to do, or like anything could happen. It just made it very uncomfortable. And not wanting to leave your home is something that nobody should ever want to, feel. So.
Do you know anybody that actually participated in the rioting?
Yes, I have a few family members and a few friends that actually participated.
In the riot or the protests? In the protests.
Not the riots.
Okay. All right. So they weren't the ones that were smashing windows and looting in stores, but they were
a part of
the protest, trying to have their voice heard.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Did you consider participating in the protest?
If it was more peaceful, then yes. But as far as rioting and setting stuff on fire and destroying businesses, no, I didn't want any possibility with that.
Okay. So how do you feel about what the people that were actually participating in the peaceful portion of the protest, the message they were trying to send?
They weren't being heard.
Okay.
Because of all the negative stuff that was going on. Where so you have these people who trying to bring some sort of positivity to it, and nobody's paying that any attention. The only thing they're focused on is the stuff that's people burning down stores and breaking into malls. Like that's the only thing they're worried about.
So you feel like
the people that's actually trying to have their voices heard and have a real true opinion about what's going on. I think it's definitely strayed away from the cause.
Gotcha. So it would be fair to say that the negativity overshadowed the intent of the positive message.
Definitely.
Gotcha. Okay. How close were you to all the activities? I know you live in the area. Were you closer to what was going on at Mondawmin or closer to what was going on at the North Avenue, Pennsylvania intersection?
Yeah, the North Avenue, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Is that where you lived?
No, I actually lived down North Avenue.
Okay.
But I could definitely look out my window and see like the fire and the smoke, and I could smell it, and I could hear it. That's all you heard. It was just pandemonium. Straight pandemonium. And it started from west and it came down to east, like closer to my area.
Okay.
And stores in my area started getting rioted, and people started boarding up their businesses, and You know, so there's really nowhere for somebody to go.
Gotcha.
And I just felt bad for like the older people who don't drive and stuff like that. They can't get to the county or they can't get somewhere else in order to get the stuff that they need.
So they were pretty much stuck in their homes.
Yes.
With limited or no resources.
Yep.
Because they had destroyed
Everything.
the community.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. So, did you follow the news regarding the charges that were placed on the police officers that were involved in Freddie Gray's death?
No.
Okay. Why did you decide not to do
I
that?
just felt like it was predictable. Everybody knew the outcome.
Okay.
Once everything happened, you knew nothing was going to be done.
Okay.
Only because I feel like it was just so much negativity that happened that it definitely strayed away from what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they pretty much got away with it, and everybody knew that was going to happen. And after the fact, it was still like nothing much could be done because all the damage was already done.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wow. So going back to that even, do you feel that based on your knowledge and being in that area, living there, after Freddie Gray's death and during the riots and being exposed to that, living in that neighborhood, do you feel that he was mishandled or handled poorly because of his criminal record?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Nobody wants to be treated like that. No one wants to be thrown in the back of a paddy wagon and, you know, hurt and beaten.
Okay.
So, yeah, I definitely feel like he was definitely mishandled.
Mishandled.
And it could have been a better way to go about it, and they chose otherwise.
Okay. Were there any members of your family or yourself? I know you were financially affected by it. Mm-hmm. Were any members of your family or in your direct community that were directly affected by the riots in any way?
Yeah, I know a couple older people who couldn't get their prescriptions, and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, stuff like that, and that kind of really made me upset because they're harmless old people, you know. They need their medication.
That's true.
They need their blood pressure and stuff like that.
And what I found during my research was that one particular pharmacy that sits right there on the corner of North and Pennsylvania Avenue, there were a lot of senior citizens that get credit at that store. So do you think that they would consider going back to affording them those, you know, conveniences of credit? Or do you think because of what happened, that's no more going to exist?
I don't think that's going to exist. At the end of the day, they lost a lot of money, and they have to protect their business and, you know, save their livelihoods. It's not fair, but you can definitely understand where they're coming from, because pretty much they had to start from scratch.
Okay. Do you feel that the protest that occurred after Freddie Gray's death were the right way to go to bring attention to the issue of police brutality?
The protests, yes. The riots, no.
Gotcha.
The protests, I can definitely see why. But the riots, I just feel like was just malicious, and people were doing it for their own intentions. It wasn't necessarily good intentions. Some may have good intentions, but others, they just wanted to be a part of something, whether it was good or bad.
And going back a little bit, you mentioned earlier that it started west and it came further east. I know that there was on the news where a lot of children that they let out of school early with no bus routes participated in some of the unrest during that time. Were you around to see some of that unrest with the younger people?
I actually went and got my son early from school that day. I found out I didn't have to go to work that day because of everything that was going on.
Right.
And I was just like, I'm just going to get my son.
Okay.
Because his school is primarily in that like area, and I just didn't want him to see that or, you know, be in harm's way.
Okay.
So
in order to protect him,
as a parent, I was like, I'm just going to get my son.
Yeah. Understandable.
That's all I wanted to do. Just
Understandable. Okay. Well, Deshira, I'm going to close there. I'm going to say thank you again for participating and allowing me to take a few minutes to interview you regarding your experience of the riots after Freddie Gray's death and the court case, etc. So thank you very, very much.
No problem.